Professor Gavor. I want to talk to you a little bit about this concept of the last mile, which is something that is hot and heavy these days in the retail industry, primarily being led by Amazon, but let's say Kroger and Target, Walmart are just as involved. It involves a lot of grocery. But let's talk about this a little bit. The supply chain. You have raw materials. This is the same as a value chain that you might have seen in Porter. It's the plan, make, deliver kind of model that you might see elsewhere. But you start with raw materials. Those go to suppliers who add some value to those and turn them into raw and packed materials, maybe sub-assemblies. They go to your manufacturing facility, get transformed into finished goods, which could either go directly to customers or via a distribution center, but get distributed to customers who would then turn around and sell them to consumers. So this is the farm to fork kind of perspective, but it's not a farm to fork, it's the actual business. And maybe consumer goods of some sort, toothpaste, soap, household cleaners, office supplies, all go through this kind of a process. And oftentimes the customer, the manufacturer is a retail store. The consumer end user is actually the customer of the retail store. The food production chain is you've got fish caught in the waters or grown in the waters, animals raised for slaughter, crops grown on farms. However, those raw ingredients, those raw or living things are then processed into meats, packaged fish, even vegetables that you get raw are processed and packaged. It might be cleaned and washed off, maybe even disinfected. Fruits the same way, and then get distributed. Here is a distribution center. It goes to the retail store, and the distribution center could be of the processing company, but more likely the distribution center of the retail store. And from there, it could get distributed to the retail store or to an actual restaurant. And then it goes to home, it's prepared there, and the family, the people living in that house eat it, or it goes, the restaurant prepares it, and it might be anywhere from a salad bar or a server serving it to your table. Farm to fork. And that's where that term comes from. Okay, so what is the last mile? It is the distance from the store to your house, assuming everyone lives within a mile of a grocery store. Probably a large, since America has become urbanized, a large number of Americans probably do. I can walk to my grocery store, and then there's two others within a mile driving distance, mile and a half driving distance. It could be a retail store, it could be a grocery store, or it could be an e-commerce warehouse all of a sudden. A store that consumers only visit through the internet. If we look at the cost of the last mile, the last mile delivery is the cost of that is 53% of the entire cost. So it's a breakdown of transportation costs by leg, including the last mile. So line haul, which is basically getting it to farm to your retail store, is 37% of that cost. Sorting is 6% of the cost, and collection is 4% of the cost. The largest part is that last mile. That's why it's such a big deal. The traditional last mile solution that has been in place since probably, a long time. Industry gets food from a farm to a grocery store. Let's say it's 1 mile from your house. With great efficiency, in full truckloads, on pallets. And the grocery store, which is nothing more than it's an item pick warehouse. as opposed to a pallet pick warehouse, which most grocery uh, warehouses are that supply the grocery stores. But this is just products lying on the shelf. It's made a lot more pleasant looking. Why? Because customers come in there and they want a pleasant environment to shop in. They don't want it to look like a warehouse. You pick the items, you check out, you pay for it, and you drive your stuff home. That's how the last mile works. We get it as close to your house as a mile, and then you do the rest. Just because you can order online. And this was the first myths or mistakes of the internet. Everybody thought, well, I could get my groceries delivered to home because I can order them online. But it's easy. It's easy to order online, but still someone or something has to pick your stuff, consolidate it, package it, and ship it. So what Amazon has done to make this better is they've eliminated the store and created a warehouse that's designed for exactly that. As opposed to most retail distribution centers, which are designed for pallet and layer picking and sending things in full truckloads to stores. This is designed to pick individual customer orders and shipping it to them in the variety of ways that Amazon can ship it to you. So originally, just because I could order something online doesn't mean it's going to be any cheaper and I can get home delivery for free. Someone still has to go through the store and do what I used to do. And that has to be an added cost to the grocery store. Someone to go pick your stuff. Someone to then put it in a car and drive it to your house. How can that cost less? Just because I can order product online. It isn't. So 7 trends in the last mile logistics. We're getting faster at it. The faster fulfillment. Supply chain disruptors impact this last mile. Shippers turn to smart technology to look for tracking. I've seen people that live in the city of Chicago say, oh, I can see where Uber Eats is. I can see where Amazon, my deliveries are. They're on the next block. It'll be here in a few minutes. It's an interactive map almost. Analytics will drive last mile logistics costs down. So routing and, you need all this AI and all this IT and information systems to say, okay, I have all these deliveries made. Let's put them all in a truck. Let's sequence them in the proper way so that I can leave here and make the delivery in the least amount of time, the least amount of miles, using the least amount of gas. Insourcing reaches last mile logistics. I might have third-party people embedded in, I might be a grocery store and I don't really want to hire more people. So maybe I've outsourced all of that. You go through the store and do the shopping and delivery, and you deliver to the customer. And you have one fee and I have another fee. That could be another thing. Autonomous vehicles and drones and robotic delivery, we're talking about it. We haven't seen it yet because that's that's a big leap in technology, and that future, we should have been having autonomous vehicles already if you go back 20 years. And right now there's a lot of hubbub about it, but still we don't have them. Drone delivery, yeah, sure, it's possible, but we'll talk more about that. And drivers become merchants. Maybe you go back to the old delivery service. So when I grew up, we used to have a bread man and a milkman used to come around the house. The milkman would deliver milk every morning. We had a special, insulated milk chute, it was called, where it was basically a two-door thing, a little cubbyhole where the milkman would put the milk, and we would lock it from the inside, and he would unlock it from the outside, and we would open it and get our milk. if we were home or not home. You couldn't wait a long time. If it was really cold, it would freeze. And then we had a bread man that used to come around with bread, cakes, cookies from one of the local bakeries, and he was on a regular route. And every other day, or every 3 days, he was coming by your house and would ask the lady of the house, these are all housewives that stayed home back in those days, what they wanted. Do you want your regular order? Do you want less, or do you want more? And he was a merchant. He was an independent kind of business person. The big question: can the efficiencies, analytics, and metrics overcome the added cost of your company picking, packing, and driving it the last mile? That's really what it comes down to. And have I saved enough money if I'm Amazon by not having stores and having these kind of cool warehouses instead of stores, and eliminating kind of a middle man kind of structure? Can I save enough money to still make it worthwhile to people? I mean, I don't mind going to the store if it's going to cost me less. If it's going to cost me the same, sure, deliver it to my house. If it's going to cost less, absolutely deliver it to my house. If it's going to cost more, I'm willing to go to the store and pick it up myself. And that's the way people think, right? So here's the delivery model preferences. 70%, and this was from McKinsey, and I'm not sure the date of it, 70% of the consumers are content with the cheapest form of home delivery. 23% are willing to pay extra for same-day delivery. 2% would pay more for instant delivery. 5% would pay more for reliable timed delivery. I don't know. Where do you fall in this? Where do I fall in this? Where do people fall? So this 23% of the people that are willing to pay a little extra for same-day delivery. I mean, I'm an Amazon Prime member, and every once in a while, especially during Christmas time, okay, Prime delivery scheduled for tomorrow. We'll give you a $2 credit on your next purchase if we can deliver it in 2 or 3 days. If I don't care, if I don't have to have the product right away, fine. If I have to have the product right away, I choose not to do it. So the preferences and the way people act will change. So from Taming the Last Mile, here's this chart. It has customer service focus, technology innovation focus, which is the purpose of looking at this in a technology IS kind of class, and delivery mode focus. Well, from a customer service focus, you have offering time windows or collection points. That means you go to the store or you go to someplace else, a locker in some other third-party area. Because oftentimes if you leave the packages at the door, where I live, if I don't pick it up and nighttime comes, animals could get it. Or during the day, thieves could take it. Offering time windows, improved customer service, first-time hit rate improved. So you got to look at how often is the first delivery hit actually a delivery, and how often is it not. Sometimes when I have things delivered to North Park, they come after the mailroom is closed. That would be not a first-time hit. So when they know, and they will learn, because when it's coming to North Park, they keep it in the system, and their IS system will tell them the delivery hours are only this for that location. So they would know that. You can increase cost, but can also result in efficient routing. Collection points. I can go to the store and pick it up. My daughter orders from Target and goes there and just drives right up and shows them her phone, and they bring her groceries out and put it in the car, and she drives off. Potentially lower customer satisfaction. I don't know. It depends. If I live in the city and I don't want them leaving things, and I don't have a concierge or a doorman place, I would probably want a collection point. So technology, advanced routing tools, vehicle fuel technologies, more sustainable fleet, so electric vehicles basically, material handling improvements. Advanced routing tools, well, the better we are at routing it and planning deliveries, the cheaper we can make it and the faster we can make it. So you may have to invest in software or develop your in-house software. They can contribute to lower the more sustainable fleet, lower environmental impact, result in lower fuel costs, higher initial costs, and perhaps maybe higher maintenance costs, and transforming your fleet from one to the other. Material handling improvements. This is where we're talking about the DC. Is the DC, your distribution center, designed for delivery to consumers' homes, or is it designed for full pallet, full truckload deliveries to grocery stores? That's an advantage Amazon has by all of their warehouses are designed to pack into small packages and send by parcel post of some sort, UPS or their own delivery people or FedEx or U.S. Postal Service, these packages to your house, and they can get there quickly. Now when they're doing the same day, they want to have their own independent driver fleet doing that. So it's harder for Kroger, whose warehouses are all designed for delivery to their stores, to switch and do something else. On the other hand, they have warehouses within a mile of everyone's house. So they just have to figure out how to change the dynamic of the supermarket and how to reallocate their workforce to maybe stocking and unstocking in a different way. All that remains to be worked out. Then the delivery mode. We talked about the secure box, which is the collection point. Cargo bicycles and the collection points that we talked about up here. The secure box would be at your house. Basically you have a safe outside where all your deliveries come to and no one else can look at. Amazon is toying around with having those smart door things where, we have an Amazon delivery. You can actually unlock your door with if you have those kinds of doors from your phone, from a remote location, watch the person as they go in and get verification that they had left and closed the door and only spent 2 seconds putting your package inside your house. Is that coming? Who knows? Maybe we go to the old, all houses will now have a foyer where you can let them in the first door but not the second door. And all your deliveries can go there. You might even have a small refrigerator they can put stuff in. Who knows? Drones. Drones, really? Drones are a lawsuit, in my view, waiting to happen. The first time a drone buzzes a very old person unexpectedly, even though with the best vision systems in the world, someone's going to come out of their house when a drone catches them by surprise, and they're going to, if they have a heart attack and die, what a lawsuit that is. Also, kids in the neighborhood. I might be 66 years old, but I can remember if there was a drone flying around delivering packages and I was playing with a football or a baseball or softball, it would be a contest. Whoever knocks it down, gets points. I could see all kinds of things happening. So drones, I don't see that happening. I can see that happening business to business, perhaps. All right, here's the other thing. This is a kind of a tough chart to look at. We have Chicago metropolitan area, and Illinois. And if we look at the case, Chicago is very dense. So you're going to get your 1 day, 2 hour delivery more likely in Chicago than you are. And they've priced what it would take to make such a delivery. Assuming that it's a routed delivery and blah, 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 blah. It's going to cost you $2.66 in Chicago. And they made that a norm of 100. And then they made everything else based on that. And you see that for each increase in time or decrease in time, the costs go up. If you have security boxes with no time window, the cost will go down. If you have a 1 hour window for a security box, it's going to go up. If you have collection points, which means security boxes on your premises, and you have a collection point, perhaps not, like you go to in Korea or Taiwan, I think the 7-Eleven stores all provide this service. So if you go to some like other collection point to pick it, the cost, delivery cost actually goes down too. So this is why a lot of companies are, order it online and then drive up and pick it up, and we'll put it in your car and you go off. They don't have to actually have a vehicle. They don't have to actually have someone out riding around delivering things. And, gee whiz, I'm going out anyway most of the time, so I can just swing by and pick up my groceries. Obviously, if you get outside of Chicago, where the population density is less, it takes longer to deliver things, therefore the cost goes up. If you get into the rural parts of Illinois, it gets even worse. Impacts of customer service, delivery mode, and technology innovations on the last mile. So if we're looking at customer service focus, and we're looking at the delivery mode focus or the technology innovation focus, this is your base costs here. If you throw in returns, your costs go up. If you throw a 1-hour time window in, it goes up. And if you have collection points, it's there. So we're in this range. This 1-hour time window is really going to be something that it's spiking right now. They haven't figured out a way to contain those costs down. So I think more we're going to operate in these areas. And if you have the collection point, it looks like they can offer you, it can be less money. Secure boxes or collection points seem to be the way to go. Let's face it, I'm not home. If I'm home on a day I'm not teaching, it's fine. If I'm not home and they have a collection point or a secure box, that works for me too. And then delivery modes. Rural areas, they're talking drones still. I don't know about that. That's McKinsey. They're saying that. Urban areas, density of 50, this is density of less than 50,000 inhabitants. Density of 50,000 to 1 million inhabitants. Urban areas, density of 1 million or more inhabitants. They're talking about automated vehicles, little droid-like things, bikes like mail carriers, whatever. There's all kinds of videos you can see about these kinds of things. And it's hard to see where that's going to go because the technology is young and we're not sure how people will react to those things. Food retail in the United States. This is a nice chart to look at, and this is the size of the pie. It's $5.3 trillion, as in 2015. Online grocery sales are $20 billion in 2016. Expects to be 5 times that by 2025, $100 billion. The top 3 retailers in 2016 were Walmart, Kroger, and Costco. Top online grocery sites, according to LifeWire, probably in the same time frame of 2016, Amazon, My Supermarket, which I never heard of, Fresh Direct, Local Harvard, and Shop Food X. I don't know if these companies have been bought or not bought by others. They could have been bought by these guys, even because 2016 is 3 years ago. It's an eternity in this fast-paced, changing business. Fresh foods, 21% of shoppers report that they are purchasing more fresh, perishable items than they did the previous year. We're supposed to eat fresh fruits and vegetables more. Freshly prepared foods, 6% of shoppers report that they're buying more freshly prepared foods. In other words, from the food bars. Online shopping consumers are considering more freshly prepared foods. 5% of meals or salads, 13% meat or seafood, 16% produce. I don't necessarily buy any food. I've done some dabbling in packaged foods that don't perish. And I had fun doing that, but I just assume go to the store myself at this point. What's important to consumers? 81% high quality produce, 79% low prices, 78% high quality meats, 75% great product selection and variety. Negative impacts on sales and profits, competition, interchange fees, cost of healthcare benefits, upward wage pressure, state government regulations, positive impacts, health and wellness concept, food as a medicine trend, change in patterns of food consumption. That I think is the most important out of all these. Leveraging technology, that's important. And trade relations, relations with the store and the people. So Amazon is positioned in such a way that they have a great economy of scale. They have a tremendous web presence and are probably clearly ahead of almost everybody else on that, even though I think Walmart is catching up quickly. I haven't been on a Walmart website for food ordering. Their knowledge and use of technology is unbelievable compared to others and have an advantage over many competitors. Their distribution capabilities, in fact, when they decide they want to get into a business like furniture delivery, I think they're already one of the top 5 furniture companies in the United States, retail stores, and they're not even focusing on it with intensity. They are focusing on pharmacies, and that's going to be incredible. They have good back office operations that are the envy of many, and people have to, the retailers that are sleepy and not paying attention are getting their letting Amazon eat their lunch, and they're almost all woken up at this point and trying to be more competitive. Here's why Forbes thinks Amazon wins the food industry. Whole Food will transform its assortment. It used to be called Whole Paycheck. I think it will move from that to something different with Amazon running it. Amazon bought them a few years ago. They have branded consumer products, and Amazon is growing in the private label area by leaps and bounds, and threatens, Amazon Essentials or whatever they call it, will be as popular as Kirkland Brands is for Costco. An Amazon exec will run Whole Foods. Amazon will scale Whole Foods. 484 stores as of June 2018, 38 stores under construction. The author of this Forbes article believed that they could get to 1,500 to 2,000 Whole Foods stores positioned to help this last mile delivery. Amazon Prime. There's 100 million Prime users, me being one of them. Only 20% currently shop at Whole Food. I'm not one of those. They could leverage Prime Now, another acquisition. Might they acquire Target, who's doing some good things, but maybe not big enough to survive on their own with a Amazon and a Walmart and a Kroger and a Costco. They're not in that. They might be too small, and maybe Amazon buying them is a good thing. The author thought they were a strategic fit. In the homes of customers, you don't even have to type it. If you have an Alexa, please buy whatever the heck it is. I mean, I enjoy being in my daughter's house. She has an Alexa, and I randomly, during the day, will tell Alexa to buy things. And my daughter gets all mad at me because it's usually something like for the kids and not needed. And, I get the dad, stop doing that. Amazon transitioning from retailer to becoming part of the fabric of everyone's life. And technology is certainly, IS is certainly the enabler of all that. If we look at the aftermath of the Amazon acquisition of Whole Foods, supply chain network. Structure of supply chain network will be revamped. Capacity and potential location of new facilities will be evaluated. Existing assets will be maximized. Use of supply chain technology, that's IS and IT, will likely be increased to produce greater visibility across the enterprise. Inventory quality. As most goods are subject to spoilage, Special consideration must be given to seasonal demand, promotions, factors that affect order volatility, time to delivery due to impact on quality. Inventory location, positioning inventory in specific locations that order fulfillment and replenishment can be handled properly is critical in meeting consumer demands and enabling omni-channel and e-commerce fulfillment. Omni-channel means you can buy it at home or buy it in a store. You can pick it up in a store or have it delivered to your house. So it's many channels of supply chain. So here's some references you can look at, and I hope this helps you understand this concept of the last mile. Thank you very much.